also see different cameras, different people trying to get a sneak peek of what may happen. So it's upstanding now. I think
they're moving
moving the chairs.
No, they're moving.
No, they are moving.
So that's how the queue moves. You stand to the seat and then, so that means he's in queue then waiting for the several people who are before him.
Yeah, just like if you go to take your vaccination or anything and they offer you chairs, there's still a queue.
I think if you say when I'm in the bank, I'll understand it faster.
I remember when last took a vaccination.
Yeah, that when I went for vaccination. So there you go. So I think that's an official in front trying to ensure that people don't, anyways, jump the queue. So that's an elderly person who is going up next.
You see how queues
they're
are
all moving gradually.
Say our candidate for Labour Party
But it will be difficult to take numbers here. So I think they're just that seating arrangement. So I think they expect that it speaks for itself. Where just keep moving from one chair to the other. So I think about 3 people before him, from what we see here from the camera perspective. So probably.
Now you see, another person has left, and the next person moves to the next chair.
Okay, so 2 more people before himself.
Yeah.
Looks like it's the process seems to be pretty fast so far from what we see.
He told us 5 minutes. He took 5 minutes. His report, he told us like 5 minutes.
No, it's 5 minutes.
That is per person. Daily
per person.
5 minutes.
So
not
from
the
that
queue on the bench. When it gets to your turn.
That's within the threshold.
Let's go through the process itself. First of all,
because if you see right now, the picture where they are right now, it says the battle for the soul of Nigeria has begun. If you like,
Okay, more short 3 minutes. Okay, so here's an average of 5 minutes. Okay, so they're almost there. Just about one more person before they do go ahead, and we can see the boxes for the presidential, the Senate, and the House of Representatives seats. Doesn't matter what order they're arranged in, basically. So the boxes are there. You know which, as long as the electorate know which box to put what in, so that you don't mix the entire thing up. I think it's also going to make it a lot faster for collation. That's once you do it right, because if those things are not properly done, sorting will be impeded, and I think those are the kind of things that eat into the time.
Election. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
Perhaps it was a factor of these times.
Okay.
Almost a start now. Just okay, he will be next. Himself, okay. I think he's next.
Candidate of the Labour Party.
Is that the wife? Yeah, that's
the
Abuja.
Some of the residents, they say despite the orders of no cash and for scarcity, they will come out and vote for the candidate of their choice.
This is my submission to Nigerians. Even though it takes you borrowing your money to come out, to borrow money, and go and put your fingers on that ballot paper and savage Nigeria.
Let the will of God be done. That is what we are praying, and that is what God wants also in Nigeria.
For European observers, they are eager to monitor the elections from every perspective and note the transparency and the process.
We are the team of the election observation mission of the European Union, observing the elections in Cross River and Akwa Ibom. And at the moment, we are preparing ourselves to observe election day in Akwa Ibom.
And we're reporting everything back to our core team headquarters in Abuja, and they will come out with a report 2 days after the election.
Irrespective of the challenges that the country is currently facing, the people of Akwa Ibom have decided to make an informed choice by voting for the right candidate that will pilot the affairs of the nation for the next 4 years. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Uyo.
So that is what is expected of the process. Once you get your ballot paper, you go to a designated area, thumbprint,
person, our man,
the accreditation, after which they then go ahead and drop it. So
Peter Obi, the man won't vote.
So he'll be given
now, everybody just
papers.
carry their camera so that they see him where he won't vote. Quickly, Mo just enter studio. Here waiting.
Okay, so cameramen are expected to.
Nigerian, you know, observers to America. We go to other African countries. So it's an African thing.
Well, you see, that's the thing. I think, look, it is needed and it is good that they can mention it. But
Okay.
it's baffling and it's a bit embarrassing for me because I personally, as a strategist, have worked in elections in 5 countries.
Okay.
And in all these 5 countries, the only countries where observers were prominent, at least, are only African countries. I've participated in elections in the UK, in Italy, in the US, and it's in all these places.
I beg, if you never subscribe to the channel, I beg make you subscribe to the channel, Gist 101 TV. This is where we are bringing to you everything what happen about this election, from Delta, from Bayelsa, from Edo, from Lagos State, from Katsina, from Kaduna, from everywhere where this election they take place. So Mo will rush enter Anambra again. Mo will see what they happen for Anambra State. With their life now, the people, in fact, from the report we get, say the people now, everything they go on well. They have been accredited. They have been accredited, and the voting will soon start. So quickly, Mo rush back to the studio. Mo will see waiting some of our journalists they talk for Eastern Studio.
They become, I don't know if they are the ones that become like Ghana. They become like those, what are those people called? The people during the coronavirus. Those people giving updates. The Disease Control Center.
Yeah, CDC.
The CDC people. Now nobody knew them. All of a sudden, they became the new stars.
Yes.
And they were giving an update, and the Commissioner for Health.
Quickly now.
That is the way I make.
Quickly now, Mo rush enter China's TV. Mo we hear waiting that they talk for Eastern China's TV.
So we'll go ahead and
we see the Anambra State now where the voters they
soon.
cast
So
their
also keeping that here. But gentlemen, I'm just looking through all of this. I know that the process requires transmission of results, and they will rely on, of course, the internet, the network penetration and capacity to ensure that that happens. That hasn't come up yet. Perhaps we haven't been to or spoken getting directly or getting to that point where we get to ask any of those INEC officials, because the voting has got to be concluded before they can do that. But gentlemen, if the network seems to have some sort of challenge, should we be worried or concerned about transmission of results?
I don't think so. Fortunately for the
It don't settle. They say that they get network problem for inside Anambra State, where our presidential candidates, the person of Mr. Obi, they cast a vote. So if this network they get issue for people to vote, how they won't take fitted transmit them if they vote finish? Now the matter what they discuss now. So we hear them again.
Okay. Collation at one of the collation points.
Okay. We understand he's voting at the moment.
Yeah. So that'll be inside the booth. But while we're waiting for him to step out, I'd like to ask: I think the device will prompt itself as it gets to where network is. So the official doesn't need to open it up.
First of all, he needs to prompt it at the polling unit.
Okay.
He needs to press the relevant green button, send, so that it's uploaded.
Okay.
So, but just like your phone, you can send a message, and there's no network to deliver it at that time. But as soon as the signals get stronger, either in that particular locality or as you move to the collation center, it will
go immediately.
Yes.
And no need for no interference whatsoever.
There should be no need for a second press. But even if you press it yet again, there's no problem about that.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for him to approach the ballot boxes and drop his ballot.
Yeah,
so he's from printing in that designated area. So he's approaching the ballot boxes now, having them printed on the ballot papers. 3 of them actually. So
Republic of the Federal
So he's
Republic
just going to
of
approach any
Nigeria.
of those and drop it. I mean, clearly they all don't follow their ballot papers uniformly. It's allowed. As long as you're sure that the way you handle it does not validate your ballot.
It looks like he's waiting for his wife.
Oh, so that you can do that together.
I think so.
In fact, as I talked before, we are not saying now that vote wise. If you say more we vote wise, yes, vote wise. Wait till they tell you
This seems to be pretty controlled environment and circumstances at the moment from the images we see here. So, because we're also emphasizing that people understand and know that how they conduct themselves at the polling units is hugely important. So, of those, what my colleagues like to call 4-horse race, or several other people describe as a 4-horse race, the NNPP candidate is the one who we are now waiting to see what happens. But as you can see, this is the presidential candidate of the Labour Party himself and the Anambra State as we speak. There's large images coming through from this area. So that's him and the wife performing their civic responsibility of casting their votes today. So what a journey it's been for all those who have voted today.
Nigeria decided the battle for the soul of Nigeria at the beginning, and
so there you go. That has been done. He's dropped his wife will follow suit and drop her ballot papers in the boxes. So who knows? They might just say a word or two to newsmen.
That's the incoming president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So there you go, himself and the wife have dropped their ballot papers in the ballot boxes.
Now we hear what he won't talk about this election. And quickly, as we wait for one, very soon we will join some our people for Adamawa State. Look, hear what they happen for inside Adamawa State.
One for the Senate and one for the House of Representatives. That's one for the senatorial districts, one for the House of Representatives, and one for the presidential election. So people are waiting. So it's going to be the opposite ballot system. By the time they set everything up, they're expected to just cast your vote, and after the beavers machine would have accredited you with your permanent voters card, not temporary voters card. So anything outside the permanent voters card will not be accepted here. And we also informed by the Independent National Electoral Commission that it's only the beavers machine that will be deployed as a way of identification, accreditation, and to vote. So if your name is not spotted in the beavers machine through the permanent voters card, through your own permanent voters card, you will not be allowed to vote. So we come past the era of the incident forms, gone past the area of bypassing the beavers machine to vote. So it is essential that everybody here will have to go through the beavers machine and will be allowed to vote after going through the process of accreditation. And as I told you earlier, we're still waiting at the commissioner quarters here in GRA. People are coming in one by one, but we've not spotted any official of the Independent National Electoral Commission on site here.
Okay, are you there? As you say, we're waiting on INEC to show. They haven't shown up yet, but we've been assured that INEC is ready. Security-wise, even if INEC hasn't shown, I also can't see any security.
Yes, so my people, we did live for Anambra State now, where the incoming president, the person of Peter, in fact, I want to put one name now, Chief Dr. Barrister Emeritus Peter Gregory will be the incoming president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In the cast the vote finish,
we're going to come back to the studio soon.
They won't address the press and the people.
All right, so there you go. That is the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and his wife just performing their civic responsibility of casting their votes. So now, of the four, we await the same scenario in terms of going out there to cast their vote for the NNPP presidential candidate. So many are looking to see how that scenario and the environment will play out. So, gentlemen, we've seen three of those and now waiting for one.
Okay, waiting till they talk now. Say, man, our incoming president don't cast his vote finish. So make every one person go cast their vote, because we all must vote to make sure say Nigeria better. Because to my own opinion, I go talk say for every one person wey be say fit endure this 8 years, the next president wey they come as in I mean the person of Barrister Dr. Chief Emeritus Peter Gregory Obi should give every Nigerian endurance certificate, because it's not easy for persons to go through hell for the past 8 years. In fact, that is the first thing when I think say him go do. Say make him give endurance certificate to everyone Nigerian, both in abroad and in diaspora, we survive the 4 years of APC. So make we go back now, make we hear waiting that they yarn right now.
What you can see here, nobody here has done accreditation, and we understand that the INEC officials who came here here in a very shoddy manner. They were dropped off by a private vehicle. We ran into that vehicle, and the vehicle tried to escape. We gave the chase. We tried to ask the man who he was. He drove in a Range Rover. We have the registration number for that Range Rover. He couldn't identify himself, but he had a sticker that said election on duty. And we're wondering why he couldn't fully identify himself with the officials that he dropped off here. So what we have here is a series of people complaining, saying that they've not been accredited and all of that. And at some point, when they came in here, it's the tag as a party agent, and the picture on that tag is that of a lady, but it's a man. And so I don't know who wants to tell us what the experience was when you came in here. Go ahead.
When we came in the morning, this is what we saw. We came here at 7:30. As I 8:30, we didn't see anyone. 10:30, we didn't see 11. We didn't see one. Only for a car to arrive at the spot with their material and everything. We never knew it was a tinted car. We never Jeep, SUV Jeep. When he arrived, they opened the Jeep. Lo and behold, it was an officers that came in to do the accreditation and every other thing. When we asked them, say about 2 officers are not there, they have to make do with what they have. About 3 of them. They started asking questions. At the point we were asking questions, we said, okay, change to another location so it could be able to do the transparency be seen by everybody. At that point, they were doing that thing. We asked them, what about the cubicle? They said they don't have the cubicle. How about ink? You don't have the ink. We asked them, how about the logistics? How were you able to get to this place? Different from the way they were transporting people to their own police units. They said there was no car at that point, that someone had to come and pick them up. I said, who is that person that picked you up? They said, no, that they couldn't explain to us who picked them up.
So what's the situation right now?
It is right now that the voting just started now.
Okay.
The voting just started.
Were you able to find your names?
Yes.
You've not been able to find your names.
On the wall, the people have not captured us. We've not been accredited. We've not voted, and as we going to 10 p.m. and we are not to go there. It's like 2 or 3 that done, and all of us are here. Right now, we are still patient. We want to vote. We want to put our people right because today we want to vote and we must vote. Even if it is 6 p.m. today, we are not this time. They started by about 12, and they will at the time they have lost to us, so that all of us there we vote.
All right, Chamberlain, you can see the situation we have here in Lagos. I don't know if you have that situation in Abuja.
For Lagos now, for the report where they reach us now, say for Lagos, some private vehicle 9 carry INEC material come, and some persons never fit get their own accreditation, and some persons don't get in place. Say something would they won't happen for Lagos. So in fact, make our people whether they make they pull eye for ground to see say no will happen at all for inside Lagos, because some persons were there so they never see their names, and some persons they don't see their name. Oh, so make we see what they happen, so that movie report and well every Nigerian anything you see, I beg comment them, so that make we feel put them life, because the battle for the soul of Nigeria it don't continue, so we're not going to stop until we see the victory of this matter. So make we go back, make we hear waiting, they want to talk back about this matter.
Yes, on the ground concerning areas such as this one where they've not even been accredited. So what will INEC position be in those cases? We know that there are several circumstances, with which elections could continue tomorrow. We'll find out from them if this scenario is one of such. But as they have said, voting starts at 8:30 and ends at 2:30. But if anyone is on the queue up until 2:30 and has not voted, they will be allowed to vote up until the last person on the queue. So we'll be keeping tabs on that one to find out what happens. But in the same breath, we're also looking to see what will happen at the collation center. We'll keep our ears on the ground as well to bring you all of that details. But haven't seen all of these things playing itself out, gentlemen. This is a scenario that many would have thought may not necessarily be the case. So, but gentlemen, you've gotten at least some feedback about all of this. Could you hazard or perhaps give us your scenario? What could happen in some of these areas where accreditation by 5 minutes to 12 hasn't even started?
Well, it's rather unfortunate. Allusions were made to that earlier on. There's a disparity as to some commence very early. Quite a number did not commence as scheduled. But in usual practice, the same number of hours or thereabouts will be allotted to each polling unit. So if you start 2 hours behind schedule, almost certainly a formal announcement will be made. But it's usual standard electoral practice that the time for closing of polls in those particular areas will also be extended. Now, it's who knows what
registration areas. We're going to be seeing about 8,012 polling units. And you know that Kaduna State is very central to this election, because you know that it has the third highest vote, highest PVCs are collected when you look at Lagos and you look at Kano. Kaduna is the third. Kano has about 5 million vote PVCs that have been collected. Kaduna is the third, which is very strategic to this election. As you know, that the North has always been pretty strategic to swinging the votes in favor of a particular candidate. And so what we're expected to see is voters come out in their numbers, because when we talked to them yesterday, where we went to the market to talk to them yesterday, they told us about how enthusiastic, they are to cast their ballot. And of course, we're going to see a lot of people come out to vote. In some polling units, we saw some voters, of course, already scattered around, just waiting patiently for the INEC officials to get there.
Well, again, as you say, people have been coming in and going out. I'm in studio here with Professor Anthony Killer, and he was saying that the thing is probably that people want to see if INEC has arrived yet, and that's what you've just confirmed there. People sort of, peep. Are they there yet? Okay, they're not ready yet. I can catch them. You do a little, maybe a tea or coffee or whatever. But what's your sense of the enthusiasm? Since you were there yesterday, people coming out, they will be out in their numbers.
Okay,
what sense did you get when you were speaking with our people
another northern states? We see how they vote for them.
Let's talk about...
As you can see right now, some persons have been accredited in the northern part of Nigeria, and we have the person of Rabi Ukankwa. So right now is accredited to be for him to vote for himself, and let's see Kano State right now. And as you see, when they see them now, the process where they say they won't take, we have and they use one of these
All right, so that is the presidential candidate of the NMPP, Rabi Kwankwaso, just performing his own civic responsibility. He had an initial challenge with accreditation, but he's gone ahead and has voted. Our continuing coverage is still going on. And we've got our colleagues in Lagos who is steering the ship to ensure that you get all the details of what has transpired. But in the meantime, gentlemen, I have to thank you all for coming on here today. Oluwole Osaze-Ozi. Well, I know you said you should have voted Mr. Ezeowagu as well as Professor Adibe. Gentlemen, we appreciate all of you. Thank you very much indeed for your time here today.
Thank you.
Well, our colleagues are in Lagos, so they are itching and waiting to continue the continuing coverage of the 2023 general elections. Guys?
People went to the market to buy stuff, but some persons, of course, that didn't have the cash, went ahead, of course, using their POS to pay for as little as vegetables. So people are enthusiastic. They are ready to come out and vote. So we will definitely see some persons come in and out of the various polling units, but of course, they are waiting for the time the INEC officials will arrive at the various polling units here in Kaduna North.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was the Tory from Kaduna North, waiting the shell for Kaduna North. Now they can't give us right now. Like what I talked before, I say everything what they happen around the country, anywhere where we say that the votes will they give on the Tory as they happen. So we listen further to waiting that they talk for Eastern Studio.
Well, they have been up and doing. Let
I
me
think
not
you're
be
excited about this thing.
Really?
I can feel it. You really
because as you said, the day has come. The day has come. We didn't know this day. Well, we knew it was going to come, but somehow it's upon us.
And I don't know about viewers, but your excitement is contagious. Because now you're making me feel palpitated as well.
We have to be upbeat about it because the people have let us know that. Look at one man saying, I think it was an INEC official, that there will be elections here. Yeah. And Sarah was just telling us that INEC has said that in all the 8,012, polling stations, that there will be votes. Now, let's share some pictures that our team captured of reporters from various locations. This is as we just prepare for the commencement of voting. Which
okay, right about now, we want to capture the picture of voters from different locations. How will they happen for each of the locations? Okay, now so they happen. You don't see how they happen for each of the locations.
Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV.
INEC officials. Just a look as they go. These are people, coppers. As you can see now, the road is empty. Everyone is at their polling units who want to cast their vote, and those that are working with the INEC, I mean the youth coppers, they are on their way to their polling units to go and perform what they are paid for or what they should be doing today. As you can see, there are so many places.
Gist 101 TV.
His Excellency, who can restore Nigeria above no candidates.
I see states and have it I see states and have it but the choice is in our hand
to build a better Nigeria, to move Nigeria from consumption to production.
I don't know what choice you will make out of that too. And don't let us deceive ourselves. 2023. You have a choice. 2023. You have a choice. It's whether we make the right choice or we ignore making the right choice. And if we don't make the right choice, we don't blame anybody. We blame ourselves. If we make the right choice,
we are still Sokoto, and we can see people they want to cast their vote.
We You have a choice.
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 If you make the wrong choice, another 8 years
which
of
are
Fimbauti.
Insecurity feeds on poverty. Poverty feeds on insecurity. Don't let anybody deceive you about that. And if we do not take the right step and make the right choice, not only will the two continue to fester, they will consume us. May God never allow that. You are tempting God. God has given you everything that you need. What the hell are you praying for? What the hell are you praying for? Praying for. God gave you everything. You squandered it. You mess it up, and you are praying to God. You don't have anybody to blame.
Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV.
You can see we have security personnel on ground to make sure that everything goes peacefully. And as you can see, these are the materials for the elections. These are the things that are needed for the voting, and they are getting ready to do the needful. And Nigerians in Borno are ready to carry out their civic rights by voting rights, by voting for that person where you say get head, that person where you say wise.
Gist 101 TV.
His Excellency, who can restore Nigeria above the candidates?
I see six and have a dozen. I see six and have a dozen. But the choice is in our hand.
To build a better Nigeria, to move Nigeria from consumption to production.
I don't know what choice you will make out of that too. And don't let us deceive ourselves.
2023.
We have a choice.
2023.
We have a choice. It's whether we make the right choice or we not making the right choice. And if we don't make the right choice, we don't blame anybody. We blame ourselves. If we make the right choice, we will overcome the twin challenge of poverty and insecurity. You have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice. The twin challenge of poverty and insecurity, which are insecurity feeds on poverty. Poverty feeds on insecurity. And don't let anybody deceive you about that. And if we do not take the right step and make the right choice, not only will the two continue to fester, they will consume us. May God never allow that. You are tempting God. God has given you everything that you need. What the hell are you praying for? What the hell are you praying for? Praying for. God gave you everything. You squandered it. You mess it up, and you are praying to God. You don't have anybody to blame.
Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV.
Man called Peter Obi. This is Adamawa State. Adamawa State. Yeah. We are back to Borno State. As you can see now, we're in Borno State, and the materials for the election is ready. Yeah. Okay, back to the studio right now, where they will analyze what is happening. So let's back to the studio to hear what they have to say.
Clock, and as long as is necessary. Now let's cross over to Maiduguri
Gist 101
to meet up with our correspondent there, Tijesu Adeoye, to give us a situation report. Good morning to you, Tijesu.
Okay, right now this is a situation report.
Good morning, Mr. Yari.
Please let us listen and know what's happening.
So where are we? How prepared are we, do you think, over where you are at there in Maiduguri?
Right now we are in Maiduguri, the Borno
Well,
State.
currently, if you permit me to say, the people of Borno State are actually they have been looking forward to this election. Right from yesterday that we got in, we could see the whole town alive, looking forward to the election. Everybody is just, hoping for the best, and you could see that they are all wanting the best out of this election. You could see even this morning, a lot of them are already out and about, going to locate their polling unit. Right here, I'm currently at the Lamisula ward. That's the Lamisula Secondary School. This is a ward where 70 polling units are registered under this ward. And if you can see behind me, already sorting has started to distribute all the voting materials to the polling units. As you can see as well, the police officers are already on ground. We understand that 13,000 police officers were deployed to Borno State just to ensure law and order is preserved in this place and to ensure that the process goes on smoothly without any disruptions. So we can say that Borno is actually looking forward to this election, and everything is peaceful and calm as it stands right now. The voting is yet to start. We expect that the process will start by 8:30 according to INEC schedule. And as you can see, the activity is already starting because from here, the INEC officials will move down to their polling units to begin the process. But right now, they are sorting and distributing the election materials to the polling unit officials.
I've got to interrupt you for a moment, please.
We have
I've got to interrupt you because we've got to go off on a commercial break, but we'll be back as soon as possible. Stay with us, please.
Okay, right now there's a news reaching out to us now from Ondo State. Right now from Ondo State.
Elizabeth Peters.
Yeah.
She says
after this one now we'll hear what the apple for Ondo State, how the APC won the do mago for that. So after this
Nigeria is
our fine start to finish,
beautiful,
we will bring that news
blessed country, but it also has many places for improvement. And we need a president who can acknowledge these places for improvement, who doesn't use them as points to just score every 4 years, but actually cares. A person that cares for the health of the society, cares for the health of the nation, would focus on funding the nation's health system in a way that would transform it. Health funding not only by salaries, it's by resources, it's by computing systems, by making everything actually work. Putting in the machines, putting in the working machines, putting in the right staff who can work on these machines as well. It needs a transformation, and we need someone that cares about human life, because if you value human life, you will value the purpose of making sure the health is optimal. So yes, funding to health system should be a top priority. 15% GDP is what we need to actually get it through. The keen interest shown by the diaspora community.
Yeah, there's a news that you get on news what don't reach us now from what they call us on those states. This news they reach us from on those states. Yes, so make I read them sharp so that make we hear them. Me say APC is sharing dollars in on those states. APC that they share dollars for on those states. Really local government. He say their targets and the villages and the press where we say the send also, they say this is not a fake news, they say this is what is happening right. For those of us where we say no, they see more just see them now. This is the news now. They say APC they are sharing dollar because now they don't ban naira now. They don't ban those old currency. They don't share old currency now. So now dollar. Now they share now for on those state to really local government. That is for the shell. So more go back now. More here waiting the happen for the street.
The INEC tables and cast their votes. They were told not to go with their phones, and so far so good. The process has been peaceful and calm. The turnout has been very impressive, and a lot of people here are confident that their votes will reflect the wishes of the majority. Shola Shayele, Channel 10.
Okay, that was a report from China's television and what did happen for the street. So we are back to the studio and quickly we just see what did happen. And if like say and that news don't come again. After this one now, we'll go
exactly what we have right now.
The way it happened. So quickly, Mo, we also
all right, it's the D-Day for the presidential election in Nigeria, and of course, Nigerians appear set to make a choice of who becomes the next president that would lead the country for the next 4 years. Of course, we do know that it's not just.
So now this is Sokoto. Now we can now say something shitty for inside Sokoto. So after this now we go bring and come give you what did happen for inside Sokoto. Yeah, this is Sokoto, and these people they are getting ready. Allow Nigerians to perform their civic right. Quickly, Mopi Rush enter one news now. What did happen? Shelley for East Side.
Blame ourselves. If we make the right choice, we will.
Gist 101 TV. Gist 101 TV.
Okay, this is a new. They say breaking news. Breaking news. EFCC operatives storm APC presidential candidate Tinubu polling unit in Lagos. With a wonder waiting, they go find for East Side Tinubu polling unit for East Side Lagos. Very soon we go bring.
Electoral officers, they are sorting out, the sorting and distribution is currently going on right here in the ward, and from here they'll proceed to the polling unit. So far so good. Everything is calm and peaceful, and law enforcement agents are on ground to ensure law and order. So there's peace currently.
Gist 101 TV. So far so good, but people who would have been a stickler for details would have expected that if only the INEC officials had arrived earlier in order to do all these preparations, then perhaps theoretically, we could have started voting on the dot of 8 o'clock, but it's not to be. I guess, you know, we'll take what we can get, hoping that it will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
we've just gone past 8 o'clock now. 8 o'clock was the time, and yes, INEC officials are there. So maybe in another half hour, possibly, do you think, Tijesu, in another half hour, maybe, hopefully it won't get up to 9 o'clock. But if it will, what do you think? From what you see? Hopefully. Okay then. Okay, Tijesu.
From what I see here, this process, the sorting process already started like a little an hour before we got here. So I think they are finishing up now because the security agents were all around this place that I'm standing, but now they moved to the other side. And we understand that the election commissioner is on ground currently. So I believe they are receiving briefing from there. After that, they will proceed to the polling unit. So I believe by the time they proceed to the polling unit, the elections will start. So going by the INEC schedule, the election is expected to start at about 8:30. So I don't think they are really behind time. So if you should just give them a few more minutes, I believe they will keep to time, and you know the elections will start. So the process will start.
Great then. Thank you very much to Jesu Adeoye in
Maiduguri, they say
Borno State
schedule, but very soon they will start.
We are very much on course in Borno. 8:30 is when you actually want to start operations, and so INEC has been there even before them, as Tijesu was saying, in that particular location. I'm sure by the time we are able to cut back to Ayodele Ozubakun later, the situation would have improved dramatically from where he was on his own lonesome, so to speak. Now, Solomon Ajuzi Ogo is another of our correspondents up and down the country. He's in Umuahia, Abia State. Good morning to you, Solomon.
Okay, right now, we hear from Abia State, Umuahia, Abia State. States. Make we hear what they happen for that side. Make we hear what the correspondent with the ground go tell us about the shell for the
main center of INEC, and well, we are within the last 30 minutes window, less than 30 minutes to the official start of the polls. None of the batches for all the wards, for any of the wards, have set. None of them has set out. They are still all here. We've been here for more than an hour waiting for them to make the movement. This is the center where materials and officials for Umuahia North and Umuahia South will be setting out. The ad hoc officials, the INEC officials, they are all here trying to make the movement. But if the polls are going to start at 8:30 and they are still all here, they haven't moved, the first set of staff to come out with the beavers, the ballot boxes, the ballot papers, have been here at some point seeming to bicker over sorting. Some of them have effectively sorted out, but they are yet to move to their centers, and it's just about very close to the start of voting.
Indeed, it is, because we're looking at about in another 20 minutes odd is when voting should start. But everything from what you say, Solomon, appears to be, just the way it should be over there. Apart from your concerns about if they're still here now, we will be able to make the 8:30. But I wanted to ask about security. I've been asking it with all our correspondents that we catch up with. Is that as you expected it to be? Is it all looking quite secure? No signs of any untoward activity?
No. Interestingly, we're taking our time to go to Factory Road. Factory Road is where you have, is within where you call Apara Ibeku.
As you can see now, we have people outside the masses who want to vote.
The founder of IPOP. It's safe there. There's a polling unit around that particular place. It's been very peaceful here. The people have been eager to see this election come, especially now they feel that they have a stronger stake than a lot of people. It's safe here. The security here is high. Sometimes I begin to feel that where we are right now, a very secure location, that the number of security men and women here seem to be more than the number of INEC officials, party officials getting ready for this poll. You can see the black and blue of the police. Then you have stern-looking, combat-ready soldiers here also. But importantly, we are beginning to see the movement from the rack, people carrying the ballot boxes, the officials carrying the ballot boxes on their heads and about to get into their cars, into their buses to move on to their center. But the concern will be valid the way you raised it, that, okay, by the time you get to the wards, the polling unit, one of the things you are going to say is that you are going to still take time to set up the polling unit before the proper voting starts. At one of the polling units we've been to, we've seen that some officials or party officials are there waiting, and we wondered why it's taking so much time to get all of these things together to get to the polling unit so that voting will start at the time we have scheduled them.
We'll be joining River State.
Okay, thank you very much. It's 8:11 now.
Quickly, let's hear him out and know what we're talking about.
Most people were allowed to vote. Walking on the demands because I stayed over 25 minutes there and yet I couldn't vote and I was told to go and come back. For that they would have rectified the beavers, so I'm highly disappointed. Well, if a number of people have been disenfranchised, I mean, what do you expect? People will lose their temper and anything could happen. And that's why we say that INEC ought to be fully ready before letting the public know that, they're completely ready and that they believe that Nigerians will be happy with their preparation, but they're not to show for it at all.
All right, Governor. Yeah.
Touch wood. I was just touching wood a number of times. And everything. Look how exciting it is. Because we waited for this day, and right now, so much is riding on this election. A smooth transition. We don't want any unforeseen events, and everybody is working towards that. Yes.
Small thing, which is a good thing. And I haven't had something to share with people as you're going to your voting units. If you can, remember, of course, to take your card, your PVC, because you need that for validation. Sunglasses, if you have, for the sun. Drinking water, and maybe power bank for your.
Okay, sorry, those pictures are showing in Umua here. Yes. The election materials arriving there, at the ward, So.
There you go. Yes. So for those of you who are still at home,
these are live pictures.
These are live pictures. Yes. They're going there. So yes, we're getting close to the hour.
In Imo State where there were apprehensions, now everybody, as I think Solomon was suggesting it, that everybody is coming out knowing that, everything is okay now.
Yes.
I think the Governor Wike's polling unit wasn't moved elsewhere. Without his knowledge. But again,
I mean, they'll tell him. Now, I understand that Linda Hiwe is on standby at the International Conference Center, which is the National Collation Center, and where, of course, we have been receiving briefings from the Independent
to know what's happening there right now. We are moving there right now to know what's happening.
What can you tell us about the status at this point?
We probably will come to Linda shortly.
Yeah, we'll come to Linda in a moment.
Just a quick, update. Watching the vote findings, they did a quick sort of by geopolitical zones of what when INEC got to where, and according to them,
let's head over to Umaya State to know what's happening there.
Doing a better job of masking it, because this is so much is riding on it, not just for the country but also for the region.
Yes.
God forbid anything should happen in Nigeria, where Nigeria is the largest country.
No, for the world, actually.
In fact, yes.
The world will feel it if something happens in Nigeria. And people should know that is why international community is interested.
According to him, he and his wife could not be accredited. He noted that over 20 minutes of unsuccessful tries, a female electoral officer appealed to him to check back.
That's Wike in River State expressing
his
disappointment over the failure of Bivas.
With the functionality of
this
the
election, we expect to.
You can see the failure. I'm highly disappointed. We're all told that INEC had expressed confidence that they are ready for the election, that the Bivas are working. They can see the crowd here. I don't believe that most people were allowed to vote with the slow working of the Bivas, because I stayed over 25 minutes there, and yet I couldn't vote, and I was told to go and come back. Before that, and they would have rectified the Bivas. So I'm highly disappointed.
Governor Wike there. Now in Alhaji Kukawa unit, Maiduguri, where the APC vice presidential candidate will cast his vote. It's 9:30 o'clock, but voters have not seen the voting materials. The INEC officials also are not on ground. According to situations, their voters arrived early morning to cast their votes, but they are disappointed as no INEC staff appear at the polling unit. Now, these voters are still waiting for the arrival of voting materials. They are disappointed by this move so far.
We are waiting for them. We are waiting for them more than 1 hour plus now. And they give us time around 8:30 to be around. So up to now, we don't see them. We don't know what is going on. Nothing to go. We still expect them to come. But now I'm disappointed because there's time for everything. We've got so many places now that are about to finish their own master.
Now let's cross on out to a number of